What do you do when a woman ignores you? Do you start sending her message after message, hoping she'll respond? Do you lie awake at night, replaying every conversation in your head, wondering what you did wrong? Or do you go silent too, but in a way that builds your value instead of destroying it? Because here's the truth. When a woman ignores you, your reaction tells her more about you than anything you said before. Marcus Aurelius, Roman emperor and one of the greatest Stoic philosophers in history, once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." That means her silence is not your enemy. Your own mind's reaction is. And today, I want to tell you a story from ancient Rome, about a young man named Lucius, a woman named Julia, and the lessons that Marcus Aurelius himself gave on how a real, Stoic man should act when ignored. By the end of this, you'll know exactly what to do, and you'll never see being ignored the same way again. So before we begin, if you want to build unshakable confidence, understand women on a deeper level, and live like a modern Stoic, subscribe to the channel, like this video, and watch until the end. Because this could change the way you handle women forever. The soldier returns. Lucius was a young soldier in the Roman army. He had just returned from the northern frontiers after months of bitter cold, long marches and battles fought in the mud. He was used to discipline, rising before the sun, holding his shield until his arms burned, and enduring hunger without complaint. But there was something he had never learned: to handle in the silence of a woman he cared about. Lucius had met Julia before leaving for the campaign. She was the daughter of a merchant, quick-witted, graceful, and with a laugh that seemed to lift the weight of the world from his shoulders. In the weeks before his departure, they had walked together through the marketplace, shared cups of watered wine in the shade of the olive trees, and talked about everything, from philosophy to the simple pleasures of life. Lucius thought of her often during the long nights on the frontier. In his mind, her face was a symbol of peace, a reminder of what he was fighting for. When he returned to Rome, dusty from the road but alive, he went straight to find her. At first, Julia seemed happy to see him, a polite smile, a few warm words. But something was different. The next day, when he greeted her in the marketplace, she only nodded. The day after, she didn't meet his eyes. By the end of the week, her silence was louder than the clash of swords he'd left behind. The restless mind. Lucius couldn't sleep. He kept replaying their last conversations, wondering if he'd offended her somehow. Maybe she had met someone else while he was away. Maybe she had simply lost interest. His instincts as a soldier were clear. When the enemy retreats, you advance. But was this a battle? Every part of him wanted to march to her house, to demand answers, to explain himself, to win her back. But deep down, something stopped him. He remembered the stories he'd heard from older soldiers, how desperation makes a man look small, how chasing only drives people further away. Instead of acting, Lucius sought counsel. And in Rome, there was no greater source of wisdom than Marcus Aurelius himself. The emperor's lesson. When Lucius was finally granted audience, he knelt before the emperor, unsure if such a personal problem was even worth the great man's time. Marcus Aurelius, dressed simply in his philosopher's cloak, looked at him and said, "Speak plainly, young man. The troubles of the heart weigh heavier than the armor of war." Lucius explained everything. How Julia had once been warm but was now silent. How the absence of her attention gnawed at his thoughts. Marcus listened without interruption. Then he said, "You are disturbed not by her silence, but by your interpretation of it. The mind paints stories and then believes them to be true." Lucius frowned. "But what if she no longer cares for me?" Marcus smiled faintly. "Then she exercises her right as a free soul. Do you not value your own right to choose? Why deny hers?" He leaned forward. "Remember, you have power over your mind, not over her choices. Control what is yours. Let go of what is not. The urge to chase." That night, Lucius walked home slowly. Marcus's words echoed in his mind, but his heart still burned. He sat at his small wooden table, pen in hand, ready to write her a letter. He imagined telling her how he had missed her, how he didn't understand her silence, how much he valued what they had. But he stopped. He remembered another of Marcus's sayings. The more we value things outside our control, the less control we have. If he sent the letter, he would be putting his peace in her hands. If she ignored the letter too, he would be twice defeated, once by her silence, and once by his own lack of discipline. Instead, Lucius set the pen down and took up his sword, not to fight her, but to fight himself. The disciplined man. The days that followed were not easy. Every morning, the urge to seek her out returned. Every evening, he felt the pull of curiosity. Why is she ignoring me? But instead of giving in, Lucius trained. He sparred with his comrades in the yard, worked on his strength, and focused on the duties he had neglected during his months at war. He spent time with old friends. He visited his mother, bringing her figs from the market. He read the works of Epictetus and Seneca by candlelight. Slowly, something changed. The heavy knot in his chest began to loosen. His days felt full again, not because Julia had returned, but because he had returned to himself, the power of silence. Weeks passed. Lucius no longer went out of his way to look for Julia, and then she appeared. One afternoon in the marketplace, he was inspecting a merchant's swords when he heard her voice. "Lucius," she said softly. He turned, smiled politely, and greeted her. There was no edge in his tone, no hidden plea, just calm. Julia seemed almost unsettled by his composure. "I haven't seen you lately," she said. "I've been busy," Lucius replied. It was true. He had been busy living his life, not waiting for hers to resume. Marcus's final wisdom. Later, Lucius told Marcus about the encounter. The emperor nodded. "When you stop chasing, you give people space to choose you freely. And if they do not, you have lost nothing that was truly yours." He continued, "Accept the things to which fate binds you, and love the people with whom fate brings you together. But do so with all your heart, and when they depart, let them depart as they came, freely." Modern lesson for you. So what do you do when a woman ignores you? Unpause and breathe. Don't react emotionally. 2. Remember your control. You own your thoughts and actions, not hers. 3. Live fully. Invest in yourself, your health, your mission, your friends. Or stay calm and consistent. Let your composure speak for you. If I let her come or go, either way you remain whole. This is how a real Stoic man acts. Not with anger, not with pleading, but with strength and dignity. Marcus Aurelius put it best. He who lives in harmony with himself lives in harmony with the universe. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.